Welcome to the Exploring Awareness podcast. Join Dr. Frank Anderson and Lisa Berry in exploring new ways to live in this chaotic world and find peace and joy in the most unlikely places.
Hi, and welcome back. This is episode number 3, and they said it wouldn't last. And here we are. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Lisa. Great to be here, and it's great to continue our journey on exploring awareness.
It is a journey, and I just have to thank you for everything I've learned from you so far. I hope I'm not imagining it, that I think I feel better, and I think I'm implementing the tools that I've learned from you and the philosophies and the lessons and applying them to my everyday life and feeling a little bit better, I think, overall because of what I've learned and what we've discussed so far.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So let's recap episode 2 a little bit, because we talked about meditation being a pilot project.
Right.
Do you want to recap what that means again?
Well, we were just saying that when people are sitting at home in meditation, and practicing meditation, some of the practices that we're talking about, when you can do it at home, in your room, without a lot of distractions, and you get a taste, for the awareness. When you get a feeling for what this is all about, you can bring it out into the world. So meditation is a pilot project, not a means to an end in and of itself, but a way to prepare you to be out in the world.
I like how you said that we were building our awareness muscle. So maybe that's why I feel that I'm stronger, because I built my awareness muscle?
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe so. You probably tasted the sugar.
Refer to episode 1 for that one. No, but you said, awareness muscle, what connects you to your deeper wisdom and your deeper self. And you bring out into the world that some space between things that might be bothering you and what you can do with that, because you've developed this awareness muscle, and maybe you're just going to take a step back from something that happens.
Right, there is that. Taking a step back, seeing what's happening. And then the other part of that is responding as opposed to reacting.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great tool. That is something that I really appreciate. Something else that we talked about that I kind of wanted to explore a little bit more is top-down versus bottom-up. What are we talking about when we say that? What does that mean? Right.
Have you ever been to a workshop or a talk or something like this, and people would say, well, you should be more loving, or, you should do this or you should do that, right? Or it's like, oh, and I do it this way. And, there's a way that triggers your mind in a way. I should be doing this.
Right.
I'm going to make myself be more loving. I'm going to make myself more compassionate.
Right. Can you?
Well, so that would be a top-down approach.
Right.
And there is this term, fake it till you make it.
But don't we want to be authentic? Don't we want to really feel this and experience it?
So a top-down approach is to force yourself to do certain things. And sometimes it does create problems. Like, I should be more loving because people say I should be loving.
Right.
So the bottom-up approach, and the approach that I like to take, is that you find it within yourself, and then it kind of bubbles up. You know what I mean? So, like when we've been talking about what you were, we had that whole talk about benefits, right?
Right.
In the first episode. So when we talk about connecting to your core, right? When you realize who you really are, then loving becomes more organic, it's like a bottom up.
Is that something you have to strive for? Is it a goal you set for yourself necessarily?
Everyone has an intention, and I think it's really good to have an intention for your practice, right?
Of meditation?
Yeah,
I'm going to meditate, but I'm meditating because I want to feel different or be better, or that's my intention?
You could have any intention that you want. But when you sit with meditation and then you start to feel into this deeper thing, then what emerges is love and peace and joy and generosity, and so it becomes an organic thing instead of something that you're looking for. It's already there.
I think that's one of the important lessons that I have learned from these conversations and from you so far, is that meditating can make a difference and how it's like a takeaway.
Yeah.
You I don't want to say you wake up, but you move on in your daily life and part of you just feels a little bit better. Am I imagining that, or is that really how it works?
Well, there's one thing that we used to say at the meditation center is that you'll never regret a day that you meditated. But some days if you didn't meditate and you're going through the day and you're like stressed and gone all around and you're like, geez, I wish I had meditated today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you start your day with meditation, you enter the day with a different perspective than you might if you're a way to respond, instead of like kind of waking up, rushing around and getting to work and kind of like continuing on the chaos.
For me, it feels like it becomes just part of who you are, that you meditate and it just gives you more of a peaceful overall feeling. And I'm not trying to like overdo it, but is that common?
Yeah, it is common.
Okay.
But remember, the peaceful overall feeling is always there in you.
Say this again. I love this. This is my favorite.
Right, because you get clouded over by everything else.
Right.
So if that part of you can guide you through the world, then your day is going to be very different.
Is that part of top down, bottom up?
Mm-hmm, it really is.
We need to make T-shirts with that on there.
That's a great idea.
I love that.
That's a great idea.
But so that's part of it?
Part of
the getting to your core. One of the lessons that I learned from you is that I said I want to meditate so I can be calmer and I can be happier, and you said all those things are already there.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's the bottom up thing.
Okay.
Right,
well, tell us a little bit more about that. What does that mean exactly?
Bottom up means identifying with your core. Identifying.
Why is that bottom up?
Because it's not something that someone else is telling you to do, or it's something that your brain is telling you to do. It's something that is just organic, natural for you. It's like, oh, I'm emerging as this calm, peaceful, loving person that I always was.
So say that again. That's bottom up. It's no one else telling you what to do. You're just discovering it in yourself.
Yeah, it's emerging from you, from your inside out.
How much do we hear about that in society?
I don't think you hear that much in society at all, because everyone's telling you what to do. There's these expectations that people have from you, and and like you were talking about, you want these things.
Right.
And people really do want these things. They want peace and joy and happiness, but they're, looking for love in all the wrong places.
So we're talking about things that no one can tell you what to do. No, when you say that someone telling you to be a more loving person, I think you can't change anyone. In fact, I saw a thing, I think, on Facebook that said, the only way you can change a man is if he's wearing diapers. And but I think that's true for men and women and everybody.
Yeah, you can't change somebody.
So how do you get them to want to change?
Probably the only way is by being an example.
And that's the whole point of this podcast, isn't it?
By being an example. And so if people may or may not want to change, but boy, when you get next to someone who is really peaceful and you can feel it, maybe that I would like that for myself. But maybe you don't think it's possible, but it is. It really is.
How?
We'll have to go back to our meditation practice.
Well, see, that's why I think I try to be as loving as possible, because I think if I can put love in the world, I can make it a better place. If I call myself the great distractor, because I know that life is hard and things happen all the time. So if I can ride along next to you and cheer you up or make you laugh or distract you from something that's bringing you down, then I think that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So I like that. Lead by example.
Leading by love is a wonderful practice, and it's an expression.
Is it a practice?
It is.
Who leads by love? You may not call it.
You are leading by love, and you may not consider it a practice, but it's emerging from you. Where did it come from? Where does love come from in you?
I think it's everywhere. I think it's
exactly.
So here's my issue. I want to lead with love all the time, but I don't think we live. Well, okay, I'm about to say something, and I don't like what I'm about to say. Do you think we live in a loving world?
Do we? What do you mean?
Because I think that I say this every time, that love is everything and love is everywhere, and that should be the prevailing energy of our lives. And that's what I strive for. But I'm human, and it isn't always, I'm not always connected to it. But I don't know if a lot of people are connected to that. And I think we'd all be better off if we were. But then again, I'm making a judgment, and I know I've learned from you that I shouldn't really talk that way.
Well, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and it's true. The world is a difficult place,
Right.
and the world is full of people that are driven by things other than love.
Right.
I think that's right. I think when you look at greed and selfishness and power and these type of things, these are all conditions. These are all like external circumstances that people have learned, and there's lots of people who have been that way and then discover something else and are no longer that way too. And so how many people get an opportunity to listen to this kind of thing? How many people get exposed to this? Now, some people, some of their religions get exposed to some of this, right? So there's some deep wisdom in the traditional religions. But other people who don't have exposure to that, they may not have access to a way to learn these things. I was just talking to the students today in a psychology class at the University of Michigan, and some of them don't have any resource to go to in an organized way. So that's why we were talking about mindfulness. It's like you can access this in any way. It doesn't have to be through a religion, but for thousands of years, there have been people that smile and they're loving and they have innate wisdom. Because that's who they are. Now they've written it down, they've turned it into religions, they've turned it into cultures, right? And in America, we maybe don't have access to some of those things.
I love the word wisdom. We need more wisdom in our life.
We do.
So how do we get wisdom? Top down, bottom up?
I think that it's both.
Is it?
It's really nice to be around people who have wisdom.
Yeah.
Because it kind of gives you an opening to what's possible. But ultimately, they can't give it to you. You're going to have to find it within yourself.
Wisdom gives you the openness to what's possible. Oh, there's our next T-shirt.
Yeah.
I love that.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's great. Do you want to talk about what happened last episode?
Yeah.
You started talking about meditation, and I started asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And listening back to the episode, because, we listen to our own episodes, not out of an ego place, but just so we can learn and grow and be better
Right.
and connect with you listening even better the next time. I felt like, I don't want to say you were annoyed, but I felt like I was asking too many questions over and over, and I wanted a quick solution, and what's the answer, Frank? Tell me now, And what were you feeling? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so you tell me.
I think that it's natural to have a lot of questions, and it's natural for people to want to have answers. And I think that it's important to ask those questions, right? And I'm not judging you about those questions. And if I sounded annoyed, I don't know if I was actually annoyed, but I was maybe answering the same question several times.
Yeah. And I think we both believe in synchronicity, right?
Yeah.
So every morning I get up and either I write, because I got to exit some thoughts from my overactive brain, or I outtake or intake, or sometimes I pick up a book. And I'm not a cover-to-cover reader. I pick up a book and I open a page and I see what speaks to me. So I picked up this morning the book The Wise Heart by Jack Kornfield, and I opened to page 271.
I love that book.
And you can see I've read it a few times. And then I came to something which I thought really was exactly like what we were talking about and happened in the last episode. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. The poet and spiritual teacher Oriah Mountain Dreamer writes about helping a participant at a New Age meditation seminar. Here are her words. At the end of a very long day, a small, thin woman in an oversized parka introduced herself as Isabel. And she said, "Can I do this meditation on my own?" "Yes," I said, "I am sure you can, although so many people find it easier to establish a meditation practice with the help of a group. It's just hard to keep up the discipline on your own." "But what will it give me? What will I get if I do this every day?" Her tone took on a whining quality, and I felt my irritation rise as she continued. "How fast will it work? Will I feel a difference after a week? How will I know it's working?" This was exactly the kind of thing I detested. The quest for a quick fix, the desire for guaranteed outcomes, the simple answer. Do this and you will get that. My sons were waiting for me and I wanted to go home. I took a deep breath, looked directly at Isabel, and set my knapsack down on the floor. I tried to slow down my words, thinking that maybe if I spoke slower, I would feel more patient. Well, I said, meditation is more of a process than a goal-oriented activity. It can help you become more aware of what is going on within and around you, and this can help reduce stress. My best advice is to try to just be patient with yourself. I picked up my bag and started to button up my coat. I really did have to leave, and I wanted to get out while I was feeling virtuous for not snapping her head off. But as I started to move away, Isabel suddenly reached out and grabbed my arm with surprising strength. But I want to know, she said, her voice rising in a crescendo that bordered on real panic. Will it help me find God? If I meditate, will I have an experience of something or somebody out there listening, somebody really with me? A wave of desperation swept from her through me, and I was surprised to find my eyes filling with tears. This woman wasn't looking for an easy answer or a guaranteed formula because she was lazy. She didn't want a simple plan because she was unable or unwilling to think critically about what would work. She wanted something she knew would work and work quickly because she was hanging on by her fingernails. She wanted something that would work in a week because she was afraid that she simply wasn't going to make it through months or years. I put my hand gently over Isabel's where it gripped my arm. It's okay, Isabel. We all feel desperate at times, I said. Nobody does it by themselves. We all need help. Her hand relaxed a little beneath mine and she started to cry. We talked for a while longer. There is no them, there's only us. When I left, I did not leave one of them. I said goodbye to one of us. A human being doing the best she can, searching for the home for which all our hearts long. I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I felt things went between us last week. And I pick up this book and I open this page and that's exactly what it was.
Wow.
And I don't know. I just thought that was pretty cool. And then the next paragraph, she talks about to act out of love no matter what. I love that. To act out of love no matter what. I feel like that's what we should all... see, I keep doing this. I keep saying that telling people how to feel or what, and I shouldn't. That's important to me, and hopefully I can lead by example, and it would be important to you to act out of love no matter what. I thought that was
right,
cool.
leading by example.
Yeah.
But there's also that you're questioning, and you're yearning,
right,
for home.
Yeah.
Which is just a common thing for all of us. And I like that at the end when she says for us, because when we talk about returning home, there is a unity among all of us. And again, I'll keep using the word awareness, exploring awareness. But your awareness, my awareness, the awareness of the
Mm.
universe is all tied together. And so
what does it? Wait.
Well, awareness is awareness. The field of awareness we all live in, and so there's a unity within all of that.
Do you think awareness is something you have to connect to?
Awareness is already there, and yes, awareness.
Awareness is already there. What does that mean?
There's a way that there's something that connects us all, and we're using the word awareness now. When she talks about finding God, I also think that's interesting because when you listen to spiritual teachers, we talk about awareness and you kind of awaken to awareness, and then there can also at some point be a realization of divinity, finding God within yourself, and you'll find that within religions.
Yeah.
And so there's awareness, and could be some realization about the true nature of yourself as a divine being as well.
Of yourself as a divine being?
Mm-hmm. And that's what would connect us all.
The name of this podcast is Exploring Awareness, and I told you how I'm really growing to love exploring as one of my favorite words. And is that because it's a way to look at life? I mean, I like that you said it was an adventure and it was fun. Yeah. is that why I'm connecting to exploring, do you think?
Yeah, I like that part that it's a journey because there's no end to the journey. I feel like I'm exploring awareness all the time, and it never gets boring.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think
there's so much to.
There's so much
take a part of it.
It's a wonderful sense. So when people, if you feel like you're getting bored during meditation, that might mean you got to adjust what you're doing a little bit, because awareness, there's no boredom in awareness. You could be aware that you're bored. But when you're aware that you're bored, then when you're identifying as awareness, then there's no boredom there. It's just unity. It's awareness.
When you're identifying as awareness.
Yes.
Have we discussed that?
We touched on it. We've explored it.
Identifying as awareness.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So it kind of goes back to the who are you question that we had as well.
Yeah.
So are you your thoughts? Are you your conditionings? Are you your situations? Or are you the awareness of those things?
I think I know what the answer should be,
yeah.
But I don't know if I feel that.
So that's why we're exploring awareness, and that's why we meditate, because those are the realizations that you get.
What are the realizations that you get?
The realization that you can identify as awareness, rest as awareness, and we can do that during the meditation at the end of this podcast. Resting as awareness changes everything from identifying with your thoughts and your personality and your conditionings as who you are.
Do you rest in awareness?
I do.
A lot?
I do.
Can you give us an example? I mean, you're a busy physician. You have a wife and 3 kids and a busy life. And do you have to work to rest in awareness?
So years of meditation practice have helped me learn what awareness tastes like, what it feels like, and bring that into the world. And so part of the time I am able to be aware, and part of the time I get pulled out of it and get wrapped up in the world. So, is it 20/80, 30/70? It changes depending on what's going on.
But it's something to strive for.
But it is something that continues to express itself in me, right? So, again, when we talk about striving, I think it's my intention. Yeah, it is definitely my intention.
It expresses itself in you.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I think I just need to get that clear of how do you get to that spot. It's your intention, but it's expressing itself in you because you've meditated, and it's just part of who you are.
So when you do your pilot project at home with meditation and learn to identify as awareness, then when you move out into the world, you take that with you. Until you don't, until you get distracted, and then you take some breaths and you go, okay, back to my core, back to this sense of who I am that was cultivated through this awareness practice.
Can I identify as loving awareness?
Absolutely.
You can?
Awareness is a wonderful. It's a wonderful. And Jack Kornfield uses compassionate awareness. As his term now for mindfulness. You can hear him talk about mindfulness and compassionate awareness interchangeably.
Do you think it's easy to be compassionate?
If it's bottom up.
Way to bring it all home.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't help it because I'm a pretty empathetic person. I'm an empath, and I've told you that I feel what other people are experiencing, and to me that is compassion. Is it? Is it? Am I identifying it correctly?
Sure.
I don't know a lot of compassionate people.
Well, that's okay.
Is it? I would prefer to know more compassionate people. Do you know a lot of compassionate people?
I think lots of people express compassion often. And, I'm with a lot of physicians and nurses and things like that, and there are extremely compassionate people there. And sometimes compassionate people get distracted, They get upset. They have personal problems. They have situations in their life that clouds that over, right? And it's temporary, and it depends on the situation, but it's always there.
Return to awareness is is it? Are you talking? Do you have to have self-awareness? I know I ask you this every time, or do you have to? Is it something you have to? You make it sound bottom up. It's natural process, but is it something you should strive for? See, I'm asking too many questions again.
No. Well, I was just going to say it was that back to the intention.
Okay.
And so setting an intention. So do you think setting an intention and striving for are the same, or do you see a little bit of difference?
It's being aware that this is a good way to live.
Yeah.
This is good for you. Is it like being centered? I guess that was going to be my question. Is returning to awareness like being, because I'm all about being balanced. That's what I think. We all need to be emotionally balanced, and we need to have our thoughts be balanced. And I think balance is like, you're equal and you're even-footed and you're centered. Is that the same way as?
Well, because that's where your core is. It is centered.
Yeah. Is that the same thing as returning to awareness?
It's another way of saying it.
Oh, okay. So meditation, we were going to talk about meditation and mindful awareness meditation. Is that a type of meditation?
So, you hear about mindfulness
right,
all the
which
time.
Is not your favorite word.
I just don't want it to be misused.
Okay.
And I think that mindfulness is a great technique in order to open to awareness or mindful awareness. So I think mindful awareness is another good way to talk about what we're doing. And mindfulness is also a fine word to use. It's just it can get a little, since it's such a popular word now and has so many different meanings to people, that mindfulness is a technique used to open to your awareness. And so all the teachers that I'm hearing are using mindfulness and awareness, similarly. But let's say you're in a situation where you need to plan a business out, right? And so you might be mindful as you make your calculations, you make your plans, and that's fine. I mean, being able to be mindful and concentrate on what you're doing. I think that there have been some situations where mindfulness might have been used to increase productivity of workers, right? And without kind of an ethical background, mindfulness could be misused, right? It could be simply a way to be more productive. And we've seen studies where mindfulness interventions make people more productive. So when we add the awareness component, to me that adds this sense of love and generosity and peace and joy that kind of just goes beyond the mental part of mindfulness, right? So,
okay, wait. How is that beyond the mental part? You mean
because
feeling
that's
it?
the experiential part.
Oh, okay.
That's the
okay.
experiential part. That's why it's not that I don't like the word mindfulness, but I think that mindfulness, the word is a little bit limited.
Okay, so are we going to do a meditation? You want to talk about meditation?
Well, I think we should do a body scan.
Body scan.
I think last time we did mindfulness of the breath, and so.
Speaking of last time.
Oh, yep.
You talked about the tip of your nose.
Oh, right.
And I didn't get that.
Oh,
We're
okay.
meditating, and you're talking about the tip of your nose. Feel the tip, and I'm like, I can feel the tip of my nose with my hand.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can feel it when I'm meditating. So can you clarify what that means?
Right. So when we were talking about mindfulness of the breath.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first learned to meditate, they'd say, feel the air at your nose tip. And that's why I use that term. But the tip of your nose, actually, no air goes by your nose.
Right.
And so it's really...
That's my confusion.
Yeah. No, it's a great question. When we're talking about mindfulness of the breath, we're looking for kind of something to concentrate on.
Okay.
Because starting with this is you have to, kind of get your mind focused on something. And so it's really probably not the tip of your nose, but it's like your nostril. So if you feel your nostril and you breathe in, do you feel the air kind of rushing past your skin at your nostril?
I can feel if I stick my finger there, but
does your nose have feeling?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Wow, that's really a thing to focus on.
Right, exactly. It's like a pinpoint. If you can imagine an air molecule going past your nose, and then going down your trachea and into your lungs, and then it comes back out and comes back out your nose. So it's like this flow.
And so you breathed in with your nose and breathed out with your mouth.
Well,
is there a pattern?
I just did that, but I usually do in and out of my nose. But
do
it depends.
You? Does it matter?
I do. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
It doesn't matter. Some people aren't nose breathers, and they're mouth breathers.
Maybe I'm not a nose breather. See how much I'm learning?
Well, close your mouth and breathe. No, that's your nose.
I don't know. Do you think you get a deeper? I was a singer, so I'm aware of my diaphragm.
Oh yeah, abdominal breathing.
Yeah. So do you think I'm breathing more with my mouth?
Well, I think there's air going through your nose, and I think that one of the breathing is so interesting if you stop and just pay attention to it. It's like this air. The thing is, your chest expands, right? And it creates negative pressure, and air rushes through your nose or your mouth and into your lungs. And the carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanging in your lungs, which is like when you study this at the biochemical, it's just amazing.
Well, isn't there a lot of practices that are just focusing on breathing? And I think I've read that breathing can change your life, and the way you breathe can have a lot of different impacts on you, both physically and psychologically.
I've heard that. And breathing is a great method. Yeah. A great doorway.
I think when people like me get stressed out, I literally stop breathing. In fact, I remember a story, I don't know if you ever heard, I don't think it's around anymore, the Oxygen TV network. And I heard the interview with a woman who created it, and she said, I just sat up in bed and realized I wasn't breathing. And so she created the Oxygen Network to relax people and to focus on breathing. And I think more people kind of forget to breathe than they might even realize.
Well, sometimes when I'm with patients, certain procedures or certain things, people stop breathing. I'm like, okay, start breathing again. Because people will stop breathing when they get tense.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you're aware of that?
Oh, I pay close attention to that. I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. Because, people stop breathing when they feel nervous.
Yeah. So maybe we should have a whole conversation about breathing and different types and what they can do for you.
Well, so what we're doing here is remember we're talking about awareness.
Right.
And so to breathe is one thing, and to be aware that you're breathing is another.
Which I think if someone's just tuning in now, they might be laughing, but it's a real thing. You do need to be aware if you're breathing or not. I think I do that a lot. I'll get tense or be anxious about something, and I'll think, I'm not breathing. But you are breathing, or you wouldn't be conscious.
Right. But a lot of breathing is unconscious. So, you breathe your whole life and you don't really know that you're breathing. Right. And then when we stop to do meditation, to be conscious of your breath is the beginning of this consciousness, the beginning of awareness, the first step.
And it's a benefit, I love that word, because it does make you focus on your breathing. And if you tend not to breathe, now you're focusing on it, and you're going to be aware of it more.
Yeah,
right?
And when you become aware of your breath, you become aware. And awareness is where the peace is. And so, mindfulness-based stress reduction, we talked about this before, that why do you get stress reduction when you do mindfulness?
Yeah. Because
you're tuning into the awareness where stress doesn't exist. It's not a conditioned place. Stress is based on your conditions. But your core exists whether there's stress or not.
So you're at work, you're having a busy day, you're doing something, you're stuck in traffic, and then you're feeling stress. How do we tune into that place of awareness?
You just take a deep breath, become aware of your breath.
Just do that in the middle of whatever you're doing.
I do that all the time.
You do?
Absolutely.
That's a useful tool.
It's a very useful tool.
And you highly encourage it.
Very useful too. Highly encourage it. But then you can link back to that feeling that you get, that experience you get when you meditate. It's like, oh yeah, this is where it really is. All this stuff is going on out here, but actually, what's true is what's the present moment right here inside.
So, but you have to be mindful of that moment, right?
That's true. You do have to shake yourself loose of the chaos of the moment to take a breath and say, ah.
Awesome. I love that. All right, should we do our meditation?
Let's do our meditation.
Okay, body scan.
We'll do a brief body scan because
Okay.
when we did the mindfulness of the breath, we became aware of the breath. And
Right.
today we're going to become aware of the body.
Okay.
Right? And
Right.
so it's kind of developing our awareness muscle to just, the present moment here is your body. And so let's just become aware of our body. And, bodies sometimes have places that feel good and some places that feel bad. And there might be like muscle spasms, right? Joint pains. Some people may have serious illnesses. And it's there. And when we do this body scan, we take the opportunity to take the body as it is, and take the body non-judgmentally, with some compassion, compassionate awareness, forgiveness, and be kind. The body also holds tension from emotions, from past traumas, and sometimes people can hold these type of things for years and years and years. When we do our body scan, this is a chance to just let your body be and accept it. And sometimes some healing can come from that. I've noticed when I have a muscle spasm, when I become aware of it, it just kind of relaxes. It's like, oh, I've been holding tension in my back all day, and now now that I know that it's there, I can relax it. But you didn't know it was there the whole day,
Right.
So you might be scrunched up, or you have a headache or something,
Right.
But it's like you just compassionately accept what your body's doing, and there's a transformational quality to that.
Okay.
You are ready.
No, I'm ready.
Okay, well, let's do it then.
Okay.
So, again, put your feet on the floor and get your hands in your lap and sit up nice and straight. And then just let your body relax and check in with your breath. And that's how we'll always start, right? Just by checking in with the breath. And note the air, wherever it is, on your nose, coming in your nose or your mouth, filling your lungs, and then reversing flow. And so we'll start the body scan at the feet and work our way up. And so the first part of the body scan is to bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet. And your feet have been carrying you around if you're able to walk. They've been enclosed in shoes, and they might still be enclosed in shoes. But they're not bearing your weight right now. Probably you're sitting, they're on the floor. Just what does the bottom of your feet feel like? And do you even know that you have bottoms of your feet and these toes? And the toes keep you balanced. The big toe there has been keeping you balanced all day. The little toes, the constant movements to keep you balanced. And just a really interesting thing to pay attention to. And just for the sake of awareness that they're there, and just with curiosity, become aware of your feet. The bottoms of your feet and the tops of your feet and your ankle. And wiggle your toes. feel the muscles. And there's a term that I've learned, it's called animated with awareness. And so see if your feet are now animated with awareness. See if that resonates. Whereas before they were just unconsciously there, now they are there and you're aware of them. Alive and full of nerve endings, sensing everything around them. And take that same sense of awareness to your ankles. You can see where your foot attaches to your lower leg bones at that ankle. It moves in all different directions. And then moving up your leg, your shins and your calves, that long part of your lower leg connecting to your knee. And then noticing your knee joint, which is an incredible feat of nature, with all the bones and cartilages and tendons, and you may have your original knee, you may have a fake knee or a surgically replaced knee. If you have arthritis, you may have pain in your knee or not. Either way, right now, just become aware of your knee. And then that connects then to your femur, hip bone, and you can feel the muscles on your hips and your thighs. This goes up to your pelvis. But stop here and just be aware that you have two lower legs. Again, maybe for the first time. And just enjoy that awareness of your legs being animated with awareness. And now we'll move up then to the pelvis and lower abdomen. And take a deep breath. And feel the abdominal wall move out and in. And inside your abdomen there's the intestines and the kidneys and the bladder and the glands and the liver and spleen. All these organs is really, there's no sense of awareness of those individual things, but you can just bring a sense to the complexity of what's going on in there. You might hear your stomach growl. And then up to your chest, and you'll feel your chest cavity expand and contract. And then moving around to your back, you have a different sensation. That band of muscles and bones, ribs, and your spinal column holding you up. And you may find those tense muscle bundles there. Just notice them. And breathe into them. Let them relax. And moving up to your middle back and upper back. again, allowing these areas to be animated with awareness. And then bring the awareness to your hands and the palms of your hands. And just when you're aware of them, like feel how they buzz with sensation. Just you can feel how different the palms of your hands are than the back of your hands. And discover that. That's your amazing hands, what they can do. And your wrists, and then your lower arms, and your elbow, and your upper arm connect to your shoulders. And then just your whole body below your head, alive, with awareness. And then all of a sudden, you're not just a head walking around. You can feel into your whole body, aware that it's there. Maybe for the first time, amazed. And then moving up, then awareness to the back of your head and feeling the hair on your head, and moving up to the top of your head and around in your ears and your forehead, and then maybe all the muscles you can feel in your face start to quiver. The forehead and around the eyes, and the nose, and the mouth, the chin, you can become aware of your senses. There's awareness that you can see and smell and taste and talk, hear. And then, of course, your brain is in your head. And it's working like a computer running your whole body. A lot of it is completely unconscious, keeping you balanced, keeping your organs running, keeping everything going. And that part of the brain's happening on its own, and then the other part of your brain is generating your thoughts, integrating your past and planning your future. And awareness is just aware of that. So one step back, witnessing your body, your whole body process. At this place of awareness, maybe you can identify as the awareness of your body, and then rest as awareness, and let the conditions of life be what they are. Your body, your thoughts, ever changing, but awareness staying constant. Awareness there, accepting, non-judgmentally, your body and your thoughts. freedom. You can use the word love and peace and joy, or whatever other words for this sense of awareness that's beyond thoughts and beyond consciousness. So if you'd like to continue to rest as awareness, you just can pause the podcast. Otherwise, we'll take 3 deep breaths and then open your eyes. Lisa.
I don't know what to say. That was like one of the best meditations I've done in a long time.
Yeah. Did you get a sense for that awareness place?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I felt myself breathing through my nose.
Oh.
I thought, there it is. That's what we were talking. Oh, no, that was great.
Right, paying attention to that.
But I also feel I know you're a physician, but I don't take one bit of the human body for granted. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of cool to go through it and think about it and be grateful for it and relax it. And so, no, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and did you get the animation with the awareness?
Yes, my feet were, I felt it. That's a great way to describe
it. Such an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I learned that because it's like, yes, everything is there because you're aware of it,
Right.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I'm aware. I'm aware of that talking to you and having these conversations makes me a better person, and I hope people listening feel that too, because isn't that our intention?
Yeah, I'm so happy that I'm a place that we can share this, and discuss it, and hopefully in the discussion that we have and the back and forth and the challenges that we face will allow people with the same type of challenges and work, to relate to what we're doing.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if we have a Patreon channel, you could join us at patreon.com and see our podcast page. Please like us, share it with your friends, let other people know what's going on so we can build our community here.
Yeah. A Facebook page too, right?
The Facebook page. We'll find lots of other pages.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we hope you will join us for the next episode.
So long, everyone. See you later.
This podcast is not an attempt to practice medicine or provide specific medical advice, nor does use of this information establish a physician-patient relationship. Listening to this podcast does not replace medical consultation with a qualified health or medical professional to meet the health and medical needs of you or others. If you are having problems, please see your primary care provider or your local mental health professional.